Just a tech teacher living in a classroom world. Took a deep dive Monday, gonna learn in a furrow. Clicking through platforms, searching for that skill. Breaking down technology, giving learners a thrill. Deep dive Monday, to the feeling, tech solutions. Deep dive Monday.
Welcome everyone. Welcome back from spring break and welcome to our Deep Dive Monday, crafting playlist and exit tickets for blended learning in Canva. I'm Debbie Pingle. With us, we have all of our specialists today for elementary and high school. So they will be here in the chat, answering any questions that you may have as we go along or asking me and breaking in. So if you have questions, just put those in the chat and we'll get to those questions for you. If you haven't registered, you can do so on the PD system. The session number is 409264, and the remote check-in code is PSJA Tech. So again, feel free to answer questions. I did put the link also in the chat for the slides. Today we're going to take a look at creating exit tickets and playlists for your blended learning classroom. This gives the students more agency in what they are learning. Well, the playlists do. So what is a playlist? So playlists, they help empower the students. It provides a structured pathway. It enables their personalized learning experience at their own pace, and it helps foster that independence. So students that know what they're doing because they have this little checklist, it will help them become better learners and take ownership in what they are learning. So I looked at a website on creating playlists, and it gave us some tips on how to create those playlists. And this is kind of, I have the link on one of the next slides to that information. I thought it was very interesting. You want to have a learning target, of course, what you're working on. Make sure it's clear. And that you want to align your activities that are on that playlist, of course, with what you're teaching and what that target goal is. You want to keep it sequenced. If there's one task they have to follow, if it kind of builds on each other, then you want to make sure that it is in the correct sequence. And then you also can have your mixed modalities where you're incorporating different modes of learning, like videos, reading, handouts, engaging students with that different learning preferences. This is where you can differentiate a little bit with your learning. And we are going to look today at how to design some playlists in Canva. So I'm just going to go over the slides as we go first, and then we'll go into Canva and check out how to do that. So you want to make sure you have a clean layout. Make sure everything's organized and simple. We don't want to keep it too clogged or, congested. You want to keep it simple. And then you want to use like the same fonts, and that kind of for any design. You don't want to have, different fonts on different parts of the playlist. You want to kind of keep it simple. And then here on a playlist, you can also insert hyperlinks. So if you do have a video for them to watch or an activity, maybe you're creating a Canva code activity where they go play for their playlist, which I'm going to show you later. You can insert those links right on the playlist for them. If it's a digital playlist, of course. If you do a paper playlist, then of course you can have the hyperlink on there. So how do I design the playlist? Here's the link I was telling you about earlier. This was incorporating playlists into blended learning. It's a little article that I found interesting, and it talked about different types of playlist and how to design those. Again, you want to design your learning outcome, identify the necessary steps in your learning experience, decide if you'll use a single path playlist or a choice board playlist, which we're going to go over what the difference in those are. Choose a format and then develop your activities. Here are some documents that were templates in this article, and these were all Google Docs, so they're good sample templates as well for your playlist. I'm not going to open those right now, but you have the link to the slide. You can take a look at those templates. So it did talk about a single path playlist. This is a playlist that just like it says, it's a single path. The students go through during the week and check off the activities that are required of them for the week. Now, we do want to use differentiation when we're doing blended learning. So it would be almost impossible for me to create a playlist for each individual student. So the article suggests creating 3 different playlists at level 1, level 2, level 3, or whatever levels you want to call that. And then, of course, the students that are at that level would have a maybe, a slightly different playlist. But this is just like a single, you have to do everything on the playlist activity. So that's what a single playlist is. But I did like the idea of having 3 different ones for your different levels. And then it talked about a choice board playlist. Here is where the students have a little bit more choice in the activities that they choose. So we kind of probably, most of us know what choice boards are. Here it recommended doing a learn. They have to do 2 out of the 3. Practice, do 2, and then show your work on just 1. So this was giving the students, and I just created one in Canva over here with reading activities that you might have in your stations. And they have to do 2 in the learn, 2 in the practice, and 1. And then the student would actually just check off the little checklist. And so here it just identifies all the different students in the class and everybody's choosing the different activities. So this gives a little bit of choice to the student. And really it kind of helps differentiate a little bit too, because they might choose an activity they feel more comfortable with at their level. And then this is a combination of both of those, the single and the choice board, by having them do some choices, but some they have to do all. So you can see on this learn, they would choose 2. Practice, they have to do all 3. And the show, they would do 1. So this is kind of a combination of both. So here's just a little guide. I'm not going to read through all of these, but these are some things to look at when you're creating that playlist. Just different criteria to think. What makes a better playlist? This gives you some tips on doing that. And then we're going to take a look, and we'll go back into Canva in just a little bit and show you how to create some of those playlists. And Canva makes it super easy for us. Then we're going to look at exit tickets. So we know an exit ticket is like a little informal assessment given to students at the end of the lesson. It's not for a grade. It's just, where are they at? Did they understand the concept of what we were learning today? So how do we create exit tickets? Well, here's some tips on creating a good exit ticket. You want to ensure the ticket is aligned with the lesson objective, of course. Make it the intention clear. Keep it quick and easy. We don't want it to be a huge task. We want it to be able to be done probably within like 5 minutes or less. And then offer a variety of exit tickets. You don't want to just every day use the same exit ticket. That's why we're going to give you some examples today of using different types of exit tickets. And then offer both closed and open-ended options. Some might be like a little checklist, and then some, they have to write some information. And of course, use your information. Here was a little article I found, 24 exit ticket ideas and examples for immediate feedback. And that had some really cute exit ideas. Exit ticket, you can look at these ideas and then recreate them in Canva. Canva is a super great design tool to help us create these exit tickets. So we are going to take a look at designing. In Canva, you're going to want to go sign in, of course. You can sign in through Clever or My Apps. And I think Clever, maybe just My Apps. You're going to go to your home. You're going to select templates. And then you're going to select education because you're going to find a better template. And then you're going to search, like we're going to search for exit tickets. We're also going to search for like a checklist or a playlist today. And then you're going to see all the different choices they have. You can see there's a lot. You're going to select one, you can preview it, and then you're going to click Customize the template, and then you can start making it your own. It's very simple. We'll show you those steps. Here was just a little clip of all the different exit tickets that came up. And you can see the first ones look just like a ticket. It's kind of fun. But you don't want to use those all the time. Another idea is you can create like a little template, like a little worksheet basically. I did this on a presentation slide. And you can have the students record their exit ticket. So that's kind of fun. I did include the template here. And we can actually see the recording. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. Hi there. 3 things I learned about erosion. Erosion is a natural process that involves the removal and transport of soil, rock, or dissolved materials from one location to another by natural forces such as water, wind, ice, and gravity. The second thing I learned is that, okay, you get the gist. So that would be fun for the student to just actually record what they've learned and give you a little recording, and then they can share their recording with you. So just an idea of a quick exit ticket. You can also use Canva AI to create like a little activity. That is very similar to where we have the templates. We're going to do Canva AI instead. And then you're going to put your description of what you want. It was a quick little exit activity for 5th grade science. And then I just put some things that they learned. And then it generated 3 activity ideas for me. So I ended up choosing this one, the pros and the cons to erosion. And it gave me this little activity. Now, as a teacher, it says, remember, this is AI, check over the information, make sure it's correct, all that kind of stuff. Once you're ready, you can use this as a little template to share with the students. And you can share the link with them right through Google Classroom. Or you can just share the link. I guess really you're using Google Classroom, so that's where you're going to want to do it. You can assign it to Google Classroom, or you can get the link and then just go to your Google Classroom and post it, whatever is convenient and easiest for you. I do have links and templates on pretty much all of the slides to the ones I created in Canva, so you can always check those out. So we're going to go take a look at that. And then there's Canva AI code. And this one I had it just create like a little exit ticket activity. And I stuck with erosion, 5th grade science. And it created a 4-question little lesson, a little like activity actually, on erosion. So this could be a quick and easy exit ticket. So it just tells them, this is a quick check on erosion. Let's go. And of course, it's not going for me right now. And who knows why? It worked just fine earlier. Maybe I'm just not giving it enough time. So we'll look at that in a minute. We'll come back to it and see if it will go through. But yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. Maybe you can click on it and try it if you have the slides open. See if it will work for you today. Okay, so that's all the slides. Now let's get into the meat of it and get into our Canva and take a look at what we're doing. So I'm going to come over here to my home. I'm at my Canva home. And over here at the top is where you see the templates. So we'll go back and we will look at the playlist first. So I did put the links to the different playlists I created in there. You're welcome to use those if it's something you like. Here you come to templates. I always click on education because we're going to get a much better product of what we want. And we want a playlist. And sometimes I'm going to put student playlist. Now, if I don't get what I like with the playlist, I can put a checklist because a checklist is very similar to a playlist. And so Canva might not understand the playlist, but it kind of did. So you can see it kind of talking about music because a playlist is a lot of times often referred to music, our playlist of when we used to, back in the day, make our cassettes and do the little playlist. And of course, now it's on all our digital music playlist. So I don't know, let's say I could take this and I could put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I can put the activities I want them to do. So I'm going to say, oh, I like that one. So I'm going to open it, and here I can actually preview it. and see if that's the one I want. Then I can come over here and I can customize the template. And in Canva, it's just that easy to create any document actually. And so now I can come and we can put like week of March 23rd through, I don't know, what's 29th. And then of course, it's just your editing tools. And I think most of you are probably familiar with Canva. I can move it over a little bit. And then I can put maybe this is her reading. And you just customize it. And it's that simple. And then maybe this is the days of the week. And just, you edit and customize. So I'm not going to complete do it because there's a lot I want to show you. And of course here then you would put the different activities you want them to complete. And then if you're looking for your elements you have over here, maybe I want a checkbox because I want them to be able to check it off. And I can see all the different checkbox they have. Well, I want an empty one. So I'm just going to choose, I like this one. So I'm going to choose that. Of course, I don't like the color because it doesn't go with this color scheme. You can size it. And then of course you can change the color. Up here are your color tools. Kind of shows you all the colors of the document. So I'm going to choose one that kind of matches. And now I have my little checkbox. And now that I have it, I can copy. I can copy it and then I can do Control V or I can do right click paste and it will give me the checkboxes and I can move them around where I want to. And I can also do Control C and Control V if I'm using my shortcuts. And then there I have my checklist. And then of course you would continue doing that, completing it, and then to share that with the students. Now, of course, if you really want something that's printed, you can print it. Or you're not going to print with Canva because they charge you for that. But you're going to share it, you can download it, and then print it. What I also do sometimes is I'll take a snip of my image. If you use your snipping tool, I just take a snip of it. I make sure that this wasn't highlighted, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. And I'm going to copy it and I paste it onto a Word document and print from there. That makes it real simple. And maybe I want to do 4 of these. Maybe I want to make them really tiny and I want to put 4 on a Word document and then print it. I can do that. But I can also share the template with the students so they have it digitally. So to do that, I'm going to come over here to share, see all, and I'm going to do this template link right here. What this does is it creates a template. Create the template link. So now when I copy this and share this with the students, when they get it, they're going to get their own copy. So they're not writing on my copy. They're not writing on their friend's copy. They're getting their own copy of this template. So that's one way you could create your playlist in Canva. And really any of the playlist, if I want to come back and I want a choice board style, I can come back and search for that. And see what it comes up with. So here I have like a little choice board and they're not going to ever be exactly what you need because the information is what you're going to put on there for the checklist, but you can certainly choose any template and you can see it has tons and tons and tons. And as you see them, you're going to think, oh, I can use this for this or that. And you'll be able to create those checklists. So that is the playlist part. Now let's look at exit tickets. And we'll do a search for our exit tickets and you can see tons and tons and tons of exit tickets, different styles, different colors, different ways to do the exit ticket. Some have 4 on one already, just basically right here, like what was your aha moment today? And then they just write their little reflection. And again, your choice, whatever template you do like, you customize the template. So you can just kind of cruise through. If you didn't like that one, I just exit out and you find one that works for you on creating these exit tickets. Now, once you find one that you like, you can customize it, put your as much information as you want. Maybe put a place for their names here, their subject. If you don't want this, you can change it to the date. Edit. You can also change the colors anytime you want to anything you want. Oh, I don't like that. And you just kind of play around with the colors that you want. So you can also change all the colors. Maybe I don't want a star here. You can come to your elements. Maybe this is for reading, or let's use math this time. And I want a calculator. There we go. So instead of the star, I can delete that and I can put my little calculator. You can turn it around and design. And again, it's the same way to share. You can also download it as a PDF or a JPEG if you want to then insert it into and then print it from that. You can do that as well. So lots of different ways you can share those exit tickets and create those exit tickets. Now, how do we create the other exit tickets that were AI generated? Well, let's go back to our home and let's come over here to the third Canva AI right here tool. And so here you're going to describe what you want to do, and we are going to create a student activity. So I am just going to put 5th grade science, and of course you can put the TEKS in here. I do not have the TEK right now, so I'm just going to put 5th grade science, erosion, I'm going to put we learned these facts, and then I'm just going to copy some facts that I found. Okay, and you know how the internet has all these funky numbers. Okay, and then I'm just going to, oops, I forgot to put create activity for students. Now, I'm just going to show you the one I did before because time purposes, it created this activity for us on erosion. So now, of course, I'm going to want to look and see if everything looks good. This just says great work. Start by reading Jamie's story, then fill in the pros and cons for each idea and pick which one you think is best and tell why you chose it. So here I can share the link. Now, as a teacher, this could be an activity I use as a whole class activity as well. I can just do teach and bring it up, and then we have our writing tools and our Canva tools. But I can send this as a template to the students, and they can do the pros and cons activity, and then they can write their explanation for their answer here. So I can share this, or I can teach. So if I click on teach, I can, and I already had an assignment, this one created, but it would say create an assignment. So we would do that. And then let me go to the assign. I'm going to just deactivate it for a minute so that we can see that. So here it says create an assignment. And then you can put your instructions here, which I did. I already have them, so I'm not going to change that. And then I already have the link, so I can assign this via the link, or I can send it right to my classroom. So if I do send it to Google Classroom, it's going to connect. It's going to have you, I'm not going to go through all the steps, but you have to connect to Google Classroom. You're going to click your account. I guess I can go over a few of those. And then you're going to find what classroom you want to send it to. I got to select the classroom. So I have several. So if you have more than one class, of course, you're going to select your class there. You can say the date that it's due and how many points it's worth. Maybe it's an exit ticket, so it's not worth any points because I don't want it as a grade. I just want them to do it. And then it's going to go ahead and post that assignment in the Google Classroom. Ta-da! Or you can send a link as well. You can just get the link. So that one's going to go back to my Google Classroom because I already assigned it to that. So that is another way you can do that. exit ticket. So they don't always have to be a paper exit ticket. Now, let me show you the last one. I know we only have about 5 minutes left. I know I've been talking fast because this was a lot, but I also want to do a Canva AI, but this time I want to do a code because I want to do my same exit ticket. For a lesson on erosion, 5th grade students learning these facts. Oh, sorry, I thought I had it pasted already. That was my link. And get my facts over here. So now, I don't know, did I click code? I didn't click on code. Let me go back. Code. Sorry. So let me just put create a quick exit ticket with these facts. Okay, now we're going to get the code. Sorry about that. So now it might take a little bit longer than what we have, and maybe our activity would work. I don't know if anybody tried the link, if it let them go in. It just created like a little 4-question little quiz basically, but it was like a coding activity. And it might take a minute or so to create or longer. You can see right now it's coding all the lines. So this is it's pretty cool. So you can use AI to create your exit tickets and have something different than not just a style of writing. You can go in and find many, many, many templates in Canva. You just use those tools to go in and recreate what you want with your information for the playlist for the students and the exit tickets, and give a variety to your students. So as they're learning, they're not just doing the same thing every day. So if there's any questions, let me know. We'll kind of keep letting this work as we go, and maybe we'll give it another minute or so. Let's go back to this one and let's see if it's going to let us go now. Why not? We went in earlier and it was working great. Let me see if I can find it in my Canva projects. I know I published it, so it's, well, it was a cute activity. Hopefully it will work. I'll have to figure that out and we'll send you another link in case it didn't.
Can you try and click on one of those, Debbie, and then click on let's start? Like go back to where you were?
Yeah. Okay. Well, and then it generated this for us right now, but no, see, those are, yeah,
those are not
I tried
clickable?
that. No.
And when you put let's go, nothing happens?
No, it's the same thing. Yeah. That's what I had tried.
Okay.
I clicked everywhere. And I don't know if anybody tried the link and if it worked for them. We'll see. But here is another one that came up. This is a little exit ticket. So tap each card to reveal the details and then click it off. Okay. So we click. So this is just learning more. So this gives you, so after I read it, I check. So it's just giving you like a little final end note of everything you learned. And it's just giving you a little review. So now if you like it, you can use the design. You can also go back here and tweak it and ask for different things before you publish it. And then you can also show a code where you see all that coding that was done to make this little activity. So voila, lots of information on creating exit tickets and playlists. Hopefully that helped trigger or spark some ideas with you today. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want you to stay around because we're going to do a little